Okay, buddy, so matching up here against Melnikov at Swarthmore in Philadelphia on the road after driving 6+ hours to get there. Most people, you look at the UTRs and it's like, well, they'd look at me and say, Dan, why would you waste your time trying to coach this match and come up with a game plan when it's probably going to be 2-2 or worse? Well, because I think what makes you a 10-7 right now in April 2025 is some of the bumpy road matches that we had before, where you had not really necessarily solidified your identity as a player, what kinds of things you were looking to do. And I think we're past that. I think you know who you are now, and I think that makes you much more than a 10-7. And that's another reason why these ratings, you want to take them with a grain of salt. There's also the matter of your opponent, which if he played somebody that played exactly into his hands and played exactly the kind of tennis that he wants to play, he can be much more than an 11-7 to 12-something for sure. On the flip side, if he played against somebody that exposes some of the things that he's less comfortable with and makes him do those kinds of things repeatedly and making him uncomfortable and disrupting his game style, then that same player can drop down to an 11-2. So when you put those things together, it is not difficult for me at all to have genuine belief, if you have a tangible game plan, that you can come out on top. And it turns out, as this match played out, we were right. Even though you lose 7-5, 7-6, you're up 5-2 in the first set with set points, and you had a set point in the second set. So that is undeniable proof that this was a winnable match for you and that the strategy worked. Now, as far as that strategy goes, against Melnikov, you've got a 6'5", 6'6" guy that likes to hit topspin ground strokes and control points, and he serves hard. And he can volley, but he doesn't necessarily want to be up at the net very often. So this is a guy that, moves decently, but with anybody that tall, the more you can get him on the run, and the more you can get him the ball down low on him, and the more that you can get one of you at the net frequently, the better chance that you have. So, the strategy involved using your slice a lot, as you remember. I'm going to put up our little notebook paper that we had on the sidelines there for the changeovers and on the screen so you can see it. But, it had a lot to do with using your slice, getting one of you at the net as often as you could, and running him, which the details of that included, hitting a lot of short angles cross court and being the first in rallies to change direction. And it was my theory going into the match that his serve might be a little predictable at times. And, that's why I charted where he was serving. So thankfully, I ended up being right about that. So I figured even though he serves big, if it's predictable and you know where it's going, you could break him. So we know all this stuff going in, which is one of the advantages of scouting the opponents, knowing who you're going to play before you walk on the court. And as you watch this match video, you want to watch through the lens of, was I implementing the strategy looking to take it, looking to control the action, or was I, a little passive at times in critical moments, or was I looking to control the action using these strategies, keep the ball down on him and get him on the run, bring him into the net on your terms, and getting to the net whenever you could to put pressure on him. And for the most part, you did that in your way pretty well. And I think, you deserve a lot of credit to put yourself in position to win. But there's also, a lot to learn from the match in terms of, that this is a level of player that you could beat. Now you know that. And number two, watching some of these bigger moments, in the critical moments in this match, like, was there anything you can do differently? So to be clear about the strategy, the number one goal would be for you to run him and keep the ball down on him so you can get to the net. The number two goal would be to run him and get the ball down on him so you can bring him to the net on your terms. So when you watch this match, watch through the lens also, looking for all these opportunities that you could have done one or the other, which really isn't going to be possible when you're on defense and when you're trying to even out the rally. But when you're in this controlling the point position, when you have chances to attack, were you bringing him in or were you getting to the net yourself? And the other thing is, could you do both at the same time? Could you chip him short and come in behind it so you're both at the net? The other thing is, could you do both at the same time? I charted this match looking for serve win percentages, serve and volley points, all your net appearances, and all the times that you brought him into the net on your terms. For the match, you won 68% of your first serve points and 46% of your second serve points, which is overall pretty good. But the first and second sets were vastly different. On your first serve points in the first set, you won 64% of them, but you didn't make that many first serves. But you made up for it in the first set by winning 61% of your second serve points. In the second set, it was almost the polar opposite. You made a ton of first serves and you won 70% of those first serve points. The problem was in the second set is you won only 25% of your second serve points. You didn't do nearly as much serve and volley as I would have liked to see. You won 5 of 6 serve and volley points in the first set and you were 0 for 3 in the second set. You came to the net 26 times in the match and you won 18 of those points for a 69% win percentage. You purposely brought him into the net 29 times and you won 20 of those points for also a 69% win percentage. So over the course of a 150 plus point match, you brought him into the net 29 times, you came to the net 26 times. That's a total of 55 times where one of you came into the net on your terms. And so that means a third of the points played, you had somebody at the net. That means a third of the time you executed the strategy. And so one of the questions you can ask is, what if I would have done this half the points? Would that have been possible? I think it would have. And when you're winning at nearly 70% clip, I think that would have been more than enough of an edge to put you over the top. And we could zoom in to these statistics a little bit closer by just asking a simple question. How often did you do it on your serve? And how often did you do it on Melnikov's service games? And it's no surprise that you were able to do more of this on your own serve, because behind your own serve, you're going to be more likely to be in control of points. And when you were serving, you came to the net 17 times, won 12 of those points. And when you were serving, you brought him into the net 18 times and also won 12 of those points. And while those numbers are very good with a very high win percentage, the numbers that you had on his serve were even better. Because when Melnikov was serving, you came to the net 9 times and won 6 of those points. And you won 8 of 11 points where you brought him into the net purposely. So essentially, during his service games, whenever you brought somebody to the net, or both of you, you were doing major, major damage. And that makes it safe to assume that if we were able to do a little bit more of that, or a lot more of that even, you probably would have broken him multiple times per set. Not only do the numbers back up the idea that this was a sound strategy against Melnikov, but also this is the type of game style that maximizes your strengths, that you want to look to use against all kinds of different opponents, using different versions of this strategy moving forward.